Substance abuse amongst adolescents. 570,000 people die annually in the US due to substance abuse. Substance abuse is a serious problem and should be stopped immediately with proper treatment and care. In this research paper, I will be discussing how to prevent and deal with substance abuse and talking about the Afghanistan opium poppy cultivation. There will also be background information regarding substance abuse and why it starts in the first place, along with common drugs people appear to be using and abusing the most, such as nicotine, smoking, heroin, opioids, and drug abuse is being addicted of taking addictive or illegal drugs. Drug abuse is unquestionably serious because it can affect a family and a community in all sorts of awful ways. Children will learn from the actions and might drive families further apart because of the bad influence. Every year, drug abuse causes millions of illnesses or injuries in America. Some common drugs young people use are cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, club drugs, marijuana, and anabolic steroids. Ways injuries occur may be caused by drug driving or violence. Drug abuse can lead to homelessness, child abuse, and issues with work. The best way to prevent drug abuse is to not do it in the first place, because some drugs are highly addictive and they harm your body in ways you never knew were possible. Even though there are lots of different drugs and many downsides to it, let's focus on two specific and well known drugs: opioids and heroin. Opioids are found in opioid poppies. Opioids such as hydrocodone, oxycodone, and morphine are generally used to relieve pain. The repeated use of opioids can greatly increase the chance of people developing opioid disorder, leading to negative health issues. According to the CDC, 44 people die every day in the United States from overdose of prescription painkillers. This shows how powerful and dangerous drugs are. One greatly addictive, powerful, and illegal opioid drug is heroin. Heroin looks like white brownish powder. Heroin can be injected, smoked, or snorted. Some physical symptoms of heroin are drowsiness, depression, constricted pupils, and dry mouth. Heroin overdose causes slow breathing, blue lips, and fingernails, comas, and it can be fatal. According to SAMHSA's survey of drug use and health, 4.8 million people have used heroin at some point in their lives. People between the ages of 12 and 49. The average of first use is 28. This shows how drugs can affect people's lives and show how addictive it is. Since I've explained a brief background info regarding opioids, now let's look at a documentary that has different viewpoints of professionals. A recent documentary called This Drug May Kill You by HBO Documentaries discusses about long-term use of opioids and why there are other effective ways to deal with pain and not to always using opioids. There are about 10 to 12 million Americans put on long-term opioids. Based on evidence, the people who are on long-term opioids are not doing well, and the pain for them has not improved, maybe even worse. Using high amounts of opioids can actually produce more pain than relieve it. Instead of using opioids to sometimes relieve pain, you can do such things such as exercising, yoga, acupuncture, and massage. This can help people find their own life again. Now that we have discussed opioids and health in depth and seen the viewpoints of professionals, now it's time to move on to the opioids production. According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, cigarette smoking is dropping and is currently at its lowest rate in the survey's history. This survey is surveying a grade range of 8 to 12. For example, there were significant 5-year drops in a lifetime. Current and daily cigarette use amongst all grades. Current use was reported by 9.1% of 10th graders, down from 12.3% in 2008 and from 10.8% last year. 8th and 12th graders also saw a drop from 2008 to 2013. 1-year declines were seen in lifetime and past month use among 10th graders, and all prevalence periods have been continued decreasing rate of cigarette use. Although there were no increases in cigarette use between 2012 and 2013, it appears that marijuana use continues to exceed cigarette use in these students. In 2013, 22.7% of high school seniors used marijuana in the past 30 days, compared with 16.3% who smoked cigarettes. Even though we know the threats to substance abuse already, how can we prevent and stop it? Why do young people start using drugs even if they know that it might harm them? Let's find out. The main reason why young people and others start using drugs is mostly due to peer pressure. An effective way to prevent substance abuse is to try and find a better group of friends that don't push you into doing things you aren't supposed to do. You might do it because you're trying to fit in or you're afraid to be left out. People should plan ahead of time to stop them from the temptation. Another reason people might start because of the overwhelming work and stress. You might do it for pleasure or for a break off, and a great way to prevent that is to focus your mind on something more positive, such as exercising, reading, and maybe yoga. We have tried using research based prevention programs to stop substance abuse too. These prevention programs work to boost protective factors and reduce risk factors for drug use. The programs are designed for various age levels and can be in an individual or group setting, such as school or home. Prevention programs are properly implemented in schools and communities. These programs can give teachers and students information about the risk of substance abuse and how it can affect you. This method does work, and the problem has been reduced. A way I think that might prevent this problem could be to help educate kids at a very young age in school about it. They can get a better background at a very young age, and they are clearer about the consequences. An ineffective way to solve the societal problem is just to ban all addictive drugs such as nicotine. This could raise conflict or rebellion for people and could lead to societal issues. It would force people to even start smuggling and drug trading instead of stopping the problem. Substance abuse can be prevented, but it is hard to do so, and it creates negative effects on your body and your social life. Substance abuse is one of the most important societal problems in this century. Substance abuse makes people unhealthy, destroys their lives, and is almost impossible to stop. Lots of people are desperate for drugs to help relieve the pain that is happening to themselves. This can lead to imprisonment and maybe death, depending on which country's laws you have violated. Substance abuse won't stop unless you seek help, overcome, and stop using addictive drugs to relieve your pain or satisfy yourself. It is time to come clean.